And yet, something still doesn't sit right inside you. You keep asking yourself the same question in different forms. If he cared, why did it feel so easy for him to let me go? Let's be precise from the beginning. He was never confused about you. He was comfortable with losing you. There was a phase where everything felt almost meaningful. The late night conversations, the attention that came in waves, the moments where he made you feel chosen, just enough to stay emotionally invested. And then came the shift, the distance, the inconsistency, the silence you kept trying to interpret as timing, stress, or emotional complexity. But what you didn't realize is this: you weren't dealing with confusion, you were dealing with emotional inconsistency that you kept trying to turn into meaning. And that changes everything. Because confusion would have looked different. Confusion would have shown effort. Confusion would have shown urgency.
Confusion would have shown internal conflict that spills into action. But what you experienced was not that. You experienced presence without depth and absence without consequence. The real trigger wasn't when he pulled away, it was when you noticed he didn't struggle while pulling away. He didn't hesitate, he didn't spiral, he didn't chase clarity, he simply created distance and adapted to it. And that's the moment something inside you started breaking quietly. Because when someone values you deeply, distance feels uncomfortable to them too. But with him, distance felt manageable, normal, even easy. And that's where the illusion collapses. After that, you started doing what emotionally intelligent women often do when they're hurt. You started analyzing, you replayed conversations, you studied patterns, you reread messages like they contained hidden emotional codes. You told yourself, he's overwhelmed. He just needs space. He doesn't know what he wants. But what you were actually doing was avoiding the simpler truth. You were trying to turn emotional inconsistency into emotional complexity, because complexity feels safer than rejection. But here is what was actually happening. You were investing emotional meaning into someone who was not investing emotional structure back into you. And that imbalance creates obsession, not love. People are not confused about what they prioritize. They are only inconsistent about what they don't prioritize. He wasn't torn between you and something else. He was simply never anchored deeply enough in you to feel loss as urgency. And this is the part most women resist. You were emotionally significant, but not emotionally secured. That's a very different reality. Because significance without security creates exactly what you felt: inconsistency, waiting, interpretation, emotional overthinking. You were not in a stable emotional dynamic. You were in a fluctuating one that your mind tried to stabilize. And your nervous system did the rest. It confused uncertainty with intensity. It confused unpredictability with depth. It confused emotional gaps with emotional meaning. The shift begins when you stop asking, why didn't he choose me properly? And start asking, why did I stay in a space where choosing me fully was never consistent? Because attachment doesn't form through clarity, it forms through repetition, especially repetition of inconsistency. When someone gives you just enough and then pulls away, your nervous system doesn't interpret that as lack. It interprets it as something to solve. So you stay mentally engaged long after emotionally you should have detached. But here's the psychological truth: you were not addicted to him. You were conditioned to uncertainty. And uncertainty is powerful because it keeps the mind active and the heart suspended. And now we arrive at the part that actually frees you. The moment you stop romanticizing inconsistency, you stop needing closure from people who never gave clarity. You stop trying to decode behavior that already gave you its answer. Because someone who truly values you does not require interpretation. They don't make you question where you stand. They don't make you emotionally negotiate your worth. They don't make effort feel like something you have to earn. Real emotional safety is not confusing. It's consistent. And that's the truth you were slowly moving toward all along. You didn't lose someone who was right for you. You detached from someone who was never structured to hold you fully. And once you understand that, you stop chasing answers and start choosing standards.